I met a gypsy.
I think like we definitely, broke some ground in terms of, media in that day, like doing
Dude,
things
for
differently.
sure. Like, I
Very visual.
I feel like I was the demographic for TransWorld. That to me, I was exactly the same. I read every single magazine every month, cover to cover. I read MXA, Racer X, and TransWorld every month.
Yeah,
I would ride to the newsagent on my BMX bike and get them. But TransWorld was the one. Like, I loved MXA for reading about the bike nerd shit and the clickers and the testing and the gearing and all that. And I love Racer X for the racing.
Yep.
But I love TransWorld for the culture.
Yeah, exactly. It was the vibe. It was a vibe for sure.
That's what I like. That made motocross so cool, and the personalities. And it did create this whole new school vibe of what I think the sport became in a way,
I think so too. I really do. Because again, as you mentioned, and it's funny that you picked up on that so easy, is like definitely like, and I respected MXA was like for sure the techie, like read exactly about the bike and everything.
You were probably reading it to figure out what to do on your own bike.
100% I was, yeah, because those guys were experts. So it's like, and not that I wasn't, but like, I was learning all that stuff because I was, grew up and I wasn't like when I was racing, even though I got to a nearly pro level locally, I wasn't like ever getting like, anything special or parts or testing with people. So, I was just figuring it out of what felt right and trying to write that and not mess it up, because that's a lot of pressure too. If you go in and trash someone's bike, you're going to hear about it 100% afterwards, and you need to justify why you said that. Like, you can't, if you just go in and say the new blah 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 250 sucks, you have to have really concrete reasons as to why as a journalist, or you're going to hear about it for a long time. So, I had that like respect for that level. And then, I did again back to like the racing stuff with Racer X, they had like Eric Johnson's stories and like just so good. Cool. And like they had so much. So, I think we saw both those sides, and then we were like, let's make something that's kind of in the middle of these where we're still testing and we still have respected editorial opinion, but we're also bringing this like vibe and this flavor and make it really visual and really concentrate on like almost like for that time, almost over the top, like using studio lights when somebody else would just take it and shoot it in the sunlight, and stuff like that. Like, how do we bring that quality, that production level to that next level, of like really advancing things, and like, all right, every photo in there should be somehow remarkable in some way, whether it's just this product shot, it should be shot cool in a studio with good lighting and cool, maybe the theme or whatever. We started doing that, like where we'd pick, like we'd do the new products and we'd, 1 month we would light it a certain way so it all looked, or we'd use gels 1 month or whatever, just weird stuff. And again, I think that stuff was like, it brought its own vibe and made TransWorld what it was. So I think it was cool to be in the forefront of that, of like pushing that, of like, hey, what can we do different to make it like really visually appealing? I think that's the end of the day. It's like, it was just we wanted to be a really visual, like just awesome looking magazine, with the respectable editorial,
How quick did it grow from just you and
Don? It grew
Don?
pretty quick. It was like, I think we did the first 10 issues, I think were bi-monthly. I want to say maybe 8 or 10, something like that. So, as it was growing pretty quick. I remember like one of the biggest supporters right from the get-go was Ken Block, who I ended up becoming really good friends with, and he was just such a legend. And he really saw the vision of it from the day one. He was like one of the first advertisers, and he bought the rear, the last like
two
spread.
pages
Yeah,
on the back.
Yeah, I think it was that. He bought that, or like locked in, and he was just like, we're 100% in. Like, he got it like right from the beginning. And I remember like meeting him and like, being really influenced by him and just what a nice guy he was, but also his passion and doing things right and doing it well. And so I remember like,
so this was like before he was the famous car driver.
100%. No,
and it was just like DC
he was
businessman.
Just a businessman. Yeah, like legit. Like but he rode. So we'd go riding with him. Like we'd be like, hey, meet us at Elsinore. Like, we're going to go do some motos. And so he was just like a buddy / supporter of the magazine, but he really believed in it.
What fucking legend.
Oh, he's such a good, he was just the best. I love Ken. So he was like such a supporter from day one. And that just having brands like that. And then Fox came in and they were the coolest shit back then. So they bought a big spread. So it was like, I remember like literally, I remember like the publisher having these like boxes to check and like, all right, if we get DC and we get Fox, it's like big spreads, like we're doing things.
Do you remember what they were worth back then?
I don't remember. No, because I didn't do that side of the sales side, but
need to ask John.
Yeah, I'd say a spread, it was probably $6,000 to $8,000 maybe back in the day. I really don't know. I could be way off, but yeah, I don't know. But anyway, I just remember that being like a huge thing for the magazine and just like the perception of the
validation.
Magazine. Exactly. And all of a sudden, because we had that support from the get-go, I think it became pretty cool right from the beginning because you had all these kind of new cool moto brands. Like DC was just kind of getting cool too. So I think like we helped, not that they were already doing awesome stuff in RacerX and whatever, but like I think we helped, being from SoCal too, I think we helped just really shape that whole time.
Yeah.
So I think that, so it grew, it grew pretty quickly. It launched pretty quick. And then I think by like 04, 05, I mean, it was huge at that point. I mean, they were like, the magazines were looking like telephone books, I mean, I can't remember the exact page count, but I mean, it was like 300, 400 pages, I think, or something like that for like the buyer's guide issue that was like the big Christmas special. I mean, it was getting really big and like really, all the riders were making tons of money. Like the freestyle scene was really popping. So it was like a really cool time. And like, I really rode that wave of, kind of right into like those mid 2000s like that. And when I left, it was still, I think it was like the #1 magazine at that point. And so, the #1 sales, I think, or whatever. So it was right up there. It was always like battling with RacerX. Davey does a great job too, but it was like, it was right up there. And so just even to have that, I was like, this is amazing, like what we've accomplished. And so it was cool. It was really like a great time and definitely shaped my career, so.
Yeah, man. You don't think about, like from the outside, you just think about TransWorld. It was like the biggest, coolest shit. But yeah, like just to start that.
Oh yeah, it was like
from the jump.
Yeah, again, like in the beginning.
And there's so many unique factors about it. Like SoCal, young dudes, because like Jody and MXA are kind of like a bit older, definitely like in their ways.
Yeah.
Like very hardcore testing focus. Like you guys just filled this void.
Totally.
That was almost like, you think about nowadays, it's like social media and you've got like kind of cool creators that are creating things on social media.
Mm-hmm.
You guys were almost like the cool creators back then, but what you produced was a magazine, not like social
I mean, I never thought of it that way, but
kind of is like that, right?
It was, yeah. It's like, somebody has to be that person of like, hey, this is the cool new shit. Come check it out. And like,
there to capture it and put in the effort in to then like make the product and sell the product.
Yeah. So it's just constant evolution, but yeah, I think it was really a fun time. And then, as we got more into video stuff, again, not that I was shooting a video, but I enjoy the process of it and I enjoy like being around those things. So that was fun too. So like being around, like when Taylor was making all those videos for us, Stone Spray Sandwich and all that stuff.
Yeah, dude.
Like that was so fun. Like Crush, that was a really fun one. Jay Schweitzer. Like it was just cool, like being in that time and being around the sport when it was just in such a cool place and, just being around all those cool projects and everything. And it's like for a kid at that point, like, I was probably mid to late 20s. And I was just like, I guess, just really like that height of like, this is just awesome. This is what I was dreaming of to get, all these years. I basically living the dream because that's what I wanted to do. And like, it maybe not everybody's dream, but for me, being able to go ride my dirt bike and take cool photos and be in this culture, it was just, nothing can beat it. I mean, it was just the best. So, to this day, I'm still in a certain extent like that, which is amazing. But, things are different now or whatever. Yeah. But like still absolutely just love being around when I'm around. Like it's insane. Like every time I go to any race or anything, it's just as exciting. It's just like, again, things are different because you've been to so many, but it's still the actual racing. It's only getting better, I think. Like, it's crazy. I mean, it's just like, it gives me goosebumps to think how just the level of stuff right now in motocross. It's crazy.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.